Truck Talk Media.
C10 Talk, episode 317. Steve Smart, Billet Badges, SEMA series. Here we go.
We actually got some good original emblems that were like new old stock, and we sent those down to the paint supply place where they computer matched the color based off a good original one. And that's how, we got those colors, to be pretty much dead on to the, the GMC kind of ready orange color on some of these emblems. So it was a matter of getting some good original ones to use as a temp or a color chart, so to speak.
Damn, son. Hey guys, let me tell you about LMC Truck. Keeping generations on the road. Think about that. It's pretty deep. So whether your truck was handed down or something you went out and bought, odds are you were handed a bunch of paperwork, maybe a folder. In that folder was probably the catalog. You know the one, the most up-to-date and detailed catalog available today. It's like an encyclopedia for our trucks. Their website is just as detailed and informative. lmctruck.com. lmctruck.com. So whether you're restoring old memories or creating new ones, LMC Truck is here to help. They're more than just a parts company. They truly understand the lifestyle and passion of owning a classic truck. So get out there and get to work on your truck and know that LMC is here to help. You can get online, lmctruck.com, and order your free catalog today. Keeping generations on the road. lmctruck.com.
Let me tell you what Melbourne Post is packing right here. All right, we've got 411 posi track out back, 750 double pumper, Edelbrock intakes, scored over 30, 11-1 pop-up pistons, turbojet, 390 horsepower. We're talking some fucking muscle.
What does that do? Does that blow your mind? That just happened.
Welcome to C10 Talk, your C10 Truck podcast.
And now I have a chance to be the best, maybe the best in the world.
My old man, he's a television repairman, got this ultimate set of tools. I can fix it.
I said I got 50 cents in that jukebox, and all I can hear is your mouth flapping. You hear that?
Here's your host, Ronnie Wetch.
We're back, and I'm on a roll. We got 316 with Troy Gudgel from Intech Auto and BBT Fab. And then back-to-back, I've got Steve Smart from Billet Badges. So I'm kind of doing my SEMA series where these are guys that I'm working with on my build, companies. Reached out to Troy. He said, let's do it. And then, of course, Billet Badges. Love what Steve does. Always stoked to catch up with him and rock their product on the builds. I love their dash emblems that I've always run. I've got them on Yellowstone, Orange Slice, the Big Sky 25, and we'll definitely have it on the Big Sky Bonanza K5 Blazer that will be at SEMA 2025, United Pacific Classic Parts Central Hall. So the SEMA series is off and rolling. Stoked about that. I will have some regular style episodes as well sprinkled in when I can find time, trying to pretty much shop time, get some pod, and of course, sit down with some of these different vendors. I did think that I was going to get Ben Napier from Hometown in S317. Again, I keep bumping that. I don't know why. I just need to spend more time. I want it to be perfect. Ben and his wife are on Homegrown HGTV. He's a truck fanatic, car fanatic as well. So stoked to have the opportunity to interview him, but for whatever reason, I keep sitting on that one. It's driving me crazy. So I need to get that one out to you guys. 318, I promise. So 316, you've got Troy, again, from BBT Fab, Intech Auto. Today, Steve Smart, Billet Badges. I did talk to Troy. If you haven't had a chance to listen to that one, it's a good pod. We get into some of the different stuff that they are making, and some stuff he's like, hey, I just made this for my build, and then people are reaching out and they want a shot at some of these parts. So that's a little bit of the litmus test when they're putting their minds together over there at BBT Fab, and they're like, hey, let's put this one out to market under Intech Auto. That's INTEKOTTO. Another thing that Troy does They do it with Roger over at Ironworks Speed and Customs. They do a business development class. Why we didn't talk about this, I'm not sure. I'll probably have Roger on. What a great page. If you guys don't follow it, Ironworks Speed and Custom, that's with a K. But they do like a business style seminar. So I wanted to let you shop owners know, if you're interested, Ironworks Speed and Custom business development class, and that's going to be September 19th, 20th in Bakersfield, California. Beautiful Bakersfield, California. So learn how to run a profitable hot rod shop from guys actually doing it, how to properly track hours and get paid for your consumables, how to communicate with clients and land high quality jobs. Who doesn't love that? And then how to attract talent from team members. So are you trying to get the best talent out of the guys you already have working for you? Or are you trying to get the best guys to come and work for you? Again, it's all that balance. Troy, they get some other guests there, some guest speakers. I know Demo was there, and that's Ironworks Speed and Customs, Bakersfield, California, September 19th and 20th. So I believe the spots are pretty limited, again, at about 20. So get with Ironworks, get with Roger, and if you want to jump in there, grow your shop, grow your business, jump on over Ironworks Speed and Custom and get signed up for that. All right, let's get into 317 with Steve Smart from Billet Badges. Steve, thanks again for taking time, sitting down with C10 Talk. Troy, 316, Troy Gudgel from Intech Auto and BBT Fab. And then again, I'm promising you we'll get Ben dropped for 318, and then I'll have some other SEMA ones after that. All right, guys, just trying to crank them out and keep the pod rocking. Have a great week. Stay out of trouble. Do what you do. Late.
All right. What up, C10 Nation? Coming at you. I think we're just going to knock this one out, 317. I've got Steve Smart, Smarty Pants himself, Billet Badges. We get to see you, Steve, over there at SEMA once a year. You've got your rack set up. You've got your badges. Thanks for sitting down. Can't wait to get to know you a little bit better and find out, what's the madness and the method behind the madness over there. So Steve Smart, Billet Badges, thanks for taking time to be on C10 Talk and share some updates and some stories with the C10 Nation, brother.
Sure. Glad to be
All right.
here.
Right into it. You're a busy guy. SEMA's around the corner. Who's Steve and how'd you get into making these cool emblems?
Well, I started back in 2003. I bought a new Ford truck and I actually don't like emblems and badges. I went to go strip them all off my new truck and there was all these holes back behind all the emblems. So I was like, well, I can design up something better looking than that. And my friend was a machinist. And so I modeled them up and he machined them for me and I put them on my truck and just posted them on the Ford truck forum. And next thing I know, my email was blowing up with people saying, hey, how can I get a set of those? And it just kind of took off from there. And then after about 5 years, it started becoming more and more popular to where I quit my regular job and just started doing it full time and taught myself how to be a machinist and kind of blew it up from there.
What was your background before?
Commercial art and design. So I did a lot of plastics design. Used to actually design pool cleaners for about 8 years, and then was in the pharmaceutical industry before that. So
wow. So is that products. Like a CAD design?
Yeah, it's all 3D CAD. My background's all 3D CAD from back in the 90s is when I first started doing three-dimensional modeling, and just kind of grown up doing that. And so, like I say, it was no big deal for me to model up my own set of badges because I had the design background. So, yeah.
Did you were you self-taught in that CAD, or did you go to school for that and then kind of learn as you went, or OJT, or how'd that go?
Little bit of both. I mean, I went to classes. I used to be called Pro Engineer, and they used to have classes. And the one of the companies that I was interning with actually sent me to some of the classes that they offered, and they're like 2-week long classes, and so basically learned the basics there, and then started practicing there at work, doing projects around there, and fiddling with my own little projects, and just kind of went from there.
When you decided to kind of make that logo, and then as you grew, and it's that pendulum where you're like, hey, I'm designing pool pumps, I'm working in pharmaceuticals, I don't love my job, this is fun. Was that pretty stressful? A guy with a family, got some kids, you're married, and you're like, hey, babe, I want to do this full time. I can't keep up both things.
Yeah, well, fortunately, I had a very supportive wife. So, yeah, we had some tight months, but she helped carry the load, and uh, until things started taking off. And once it did, then yeah, then I was able to contribute again. But yeah, there was a rough year or so uh, that we tightened our belts and made it work. So, because she saw how much I really enjoyed doing this, and that's it. We're not looking to become this monster company. We like the little mom and pop shop. I mean, my kids are now working for me, and I'm supporting them through school and stuff like that. So it's fun.
Yeah. So what's funny is when you think about when you go back, have you kept that first logo? Do you have like one of those, or is that
Oh yeah.
something where okay, so yeah, like you think your Chamber of Commerce, you've got your dollar bill. Now you've got your old Ford logo. Was that on like an Arrow nose, or what truck was that on?
It was an '03 Super Duty.
Oh, okay. So it was a big truck.
Yeah.
Not the Arrow nose, which is absolutely the ugliest truck. So I can't wait to see what was the logo. Can you kind of describe it?
Well, it was basically the F-250 badge, but I changed it up, and then on the bottom, instead of it saying, Lariat Super Duty, I changed it up, and it was a crew cab truck, so I had it say Super and then Cruiser, Crewzer, and it was just something I kind of based it off. They had an F-650 Super Cruiser, and I kind of saw that badge. I was like, oh, that's kind of clever, and I basically made my own that was kind of based off of that truck. And yeah, then came up with custom logos and stuff for the ovals and stuff like that.
How
So
about this? You think about back then in '03, and you look at like your marketing ability, and it was all, I assume, and walk us through this, but the forum. And
mhm.
people probably, you post up your Ford and you've got
Yep.
your Super Duty, and people are like, I want that, that's rad. And then we've made this switch in marketing to where maybe you still get some trickle down from the old forums, but how much things have changed from the marketing perspective.
Yeah, everything's switched now to social media now. Um, yeah, I haven't been on a forum in a long time because it's all, social media, whether Facebook or Instagram, and then you have groups within Facebook and Instagram that join, and it's all in that now. So
Do the kids, now that they're helping you, do they help with some of that marketing and having that young vision, that young eye?
I'm trying to get them into that a little more because, they're more on the Instagram than I am. I'm the Facebook guy because I'm old. So, but we're trying to do more and more with Facebook, or I mean, Instagram. So,
Yeah, yeah, it's cool that you see that, and then you get the kids more involved. How about something that you're really surprised that maybe you've made a logo and it's done better than you ever thought, or you're like, wow, I didn't ever think I would be in 340Zs, or I'm some of the different variety, because you have such a vast variety of you know emblems and different things that you guys have made.
the one that's kind of blown up for us is the 7.3 liter Godzilla badges for the Super Duty trucks. And I came up with a design for those, and posted it on one of the Godzilla groups, and these I can't make them fast enough. We sell out of them about as fast as we make them. So, and it's like I can't just make just Godzilla badges. I have all these other customers that want other things. So, I gotta, you know, pick and choose what I make. And, if people do want Godzilla badges, they can be put on our back order list. And as soon as they're available again, then yeah, we ship them out to them before they go back in our store. But yeah, I've been just spent all weekend, blanking out more for some Godzilla. I made like 50 more blanks to try to get these things cut. But that's one thing that just kind of blew up that I didn't expect. So,
From a business perspective, Do you go home, you have dinner, you're sitting there, do you think, hey, I need to get another tool. I need to have more, or do you just try to keep it small and just say, you guys are gonna wait, you're on back order. It's a balance. I got to figure out the balance. And do you struggle with that business perspective, or
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I'm happy with where I'm at from the balance perspective?
Yeah. No, it's we take on, it seems like, more than we should, just because I like the challenge. But I find myself working 12-hour days, 7 days a week, just because I take it all on myself. um, I do have employees here that help me out, that do the polishing and the painting, and mask the badges for paint and do the adhesive and all that. I don't do any of that anymore, but my one son helps with the designs, on the CAD designs, and so I can focus more on the machining aspect. But so
Yeah, figuring out that balance and just being
oh
able
yeah.
to meet the customer's demand. And you brought up a really good point that I think that kind of goes a little bit under the radar when we see the socials, we see the badges, and you're like, God, that's awesome. Is it takes time to polish it and then sit there with needles and fill in those voids with the right color and blending that and finding the right color. I know my Big Sky Classic one that you just did with my Buffalo. I think I might even like it more than my Yellowstone one. And it's the color. It's just perfect. And you guys have finally got some of those blends. Not finally, because I wouldn't say you didn't have them, but where you probably feel really confident and comfortable. Because I remember just kind of talking to you, and you're like, okay, do you want it to be kind of reddy? Do you want it to be kind of orangey? And I'm like, yeah, kind of a red orange, kind of like the GMC. And you're like, okay, so who would have ever thought, when a guy's sitting down making a Super Duty emblem in '03, you've become a color master, or your crew. And I think it used to be Leaf, but it's funny to think like, okay, I got to get my Pantone chart out, and I've got to find out where these colors are. And for the audience, if you don't know what a Pantone chart is, it's, I don't know, 9,000 different colors. And there's a number assigned to each one, and that's how you figure out the world. That's the world of colors, really, in a Pantone chart.
Well, what we've actually gone and done now is we actually got some good original emblems that were like new old stock, and we sent those down to the paint supply place where they computer matched the color, based off a good original one. And that's how we got those colors to be pretty much dead on to the GMC kind of ready orange color, on some of these emblems. So it was a matter of getting some good original ones to use as a temp, or a color chart, so to speak. So
How about you talked about how busy, hey, and the old story, or I guess the saying is, I'd rather work 80 hours a week than for myself than 40 for somebody else, or, back to the pharmaceuticals, back to design and pool pumps. That artistic fun and freedom for you, is that something that you're loving and you're still geeking out on?
oh yeah. Yeah, totally. I mean, that's what makes it enjoyable. Even though, yeah, I'm putting in long hours and whatnot, it's just, I enjoy what I do. So that makes all the difference in the world.
One
But
of the logos that I sure think you did it, and we'll see if you remember it, but it was Brutus, and it was this like 71 2 big monster truck, green long bed truck. This guy did such a good job. And it was a pretty plain, kind of darker army green truck sitting on like 37s. I'll pull it up because I have a video of it at Brothers a few years back. And I just remember seeing that Brutus logo, and I was like, oh, this has got to be a billet badge. And it literally made the truck.
mhm.
Was that yours? I mean,
I'm not sure which Brutus. I've actually had a couple Brutus, trucks. I actually had, one where,
you keep talking. I'm gonna be looking this up because I'm gonna find this logo, and we're gonna say it was you. I think when I interviewed the guy, I would say that it was. I just don't see that. Well, and that brings it up to a good question is, how does somebody tell a billet badge emblem from somebody else? Because once you became on let's just say my radar or on our radar, there's three or four new ones that have popped up. Let's just say over the
Mhm.
last 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Well, I feel like I can tell a billet badge when I see a billet badge. Like it's just to that next level, to the nines, the
Mhm.
color, the the flow, and I just feel like that there's a distinctiveness there. I feel like there's some awesome badges made by some awesome guys. I just feel like yours is just that much better. Just another level better.
It's our attention to detail.
Hey guys, are you thinking about swapping out your old motor for a more reliable LSLT based power plant? Behind each PSI harness, you get over 10 years of experience in the business, online tech support, phone support, and harnesses made in the US. That's psiconversion.com. What's up, guys? Who doesn't like to bundle and save? The team at UP Car Parts knows this, and they put together 7 different bundles for you to choose from to save up to 20% off of your lighting. From headlights to taillights to marker lights, UP Car Parts got you covered. upcarparts.com. Save up to 20% today. You've heard me talk about my gauges. Dakota Digital. I love them. Dakota Digital has the best gauges for our trucks. These kits are complete with sensors for any engine. They look just like the stock clusters, but have all the technology you'd expect from Dakota Digital. It's like a modern truck, but even better in a classic. Dakota Digital is absolutely the best in aftermarket gauges, so check them out at dakotadigital.com. dakotadigital.com.
It's our attention to detail. We try to make it as close to factory original as possible, and it takes time to do that. And like some of the Starburst logos on some of those old C10 badges are very complicated, and I've seen what my competitors have done, and they're nowhere near at our level. So it's like it costs more to do that because it's very time consuming to machine. I go in with very, very small tools to get that level of detail, but not everybody wants to do that. And do I lose money on some of those? Sure I do, but it's what I expect, and with my quality. So
Have you ever had one that was getting ready to leave the mill, leave the shop, and you're like, nope, this
oh
isn't
yeah,
this? Yeah,
no, it happens
okay.
all the time. So where you'll spot a scratch or a scuff or something in the polish, and it's like nope, or the paint has a small air bubble or something in it that didn't get caught, and before it ships out you spot it and it's like nope, that needs to be stripped and redone. And so
I don't know how I got this lucky. I literally went to like 3 years back, and there it is. I mean, I can't even imagine that I got so lucky to find this.
yep, that's it,
Yeah.
that's me.
Oh, this logo. I gotta snap this so I can remember the date. Yeah, this is August 1st. How funny. August 1st of 2021. We were over there, and this truck is sitting there, and it has no trim. It's sitting on looks like 20s and 37s, if not even bigger. He's got the 540 emblem. He's got the V8 in there. He's got the Brutus. And it's just so clean, and the colors and the way it pops. So kudos to you guys with working with each other. The guy did a great job. The V8 540 fuel injected badge is just something just special. The whole thing really just popped. So again, I felt like I knew it was a billet badge just because it is at that level. And again, the color is just so crisp. So beautiful, beautiful job on that.
Yeah, and we don't go in with little syringes like a lot of people do to fill in the colors. We literally will mask off everything and we spray everything. So all the paint is all sprayed on, and it's all automotive grade PPG paint. So we don't, go with Krylon or some cheap paint. We use automotive grade paint like on the outside of your truck. So it makes the difference.
Yeah, yeah, it's awesome. It really is. So you guys do a huge variety. I've seen some really cool on your poster board or your peg board that you have when you take it to shows. Some really cool Dodge ones. What's one that you look back and you're like, wow, I don't know that we knew we could do it and we did it and it turned out just phenomenal. One of your favorites?
Uh, well, I just finished one for an old uh, concept car for an old Futura that we did, and I'm literally working from uh, old 1950s photographs, that you know aren't even digital or anything anymore. They were like old newsprint type ads, and we worked from that to try to develop the emblem. And we just figured out, okay, it's about this size, and we messed with the colors and whatnot to try to create contrast so we could actually develop that emblem. And it came out like perfect. The customer was just completely blown away that we were able to develop this emblem from literally just an old photograph. So
Yeah, so you sit down, look at a couple of photographs, you design it. Is that how the process works? Work with the customer back and forth, back and forth. You approve.
yeah.
Okay, we're gonna run it.
Yep. Yeah, we'll send them a dimension drawing for them to review, and they can literally print it out as a PDF and tape it on the side of the car, trim it all out and tape it on with some scotch tape to stand back and look at it. And if they need it a little bigger, we'll scale it up and kind of go from there. But, we won't cut anything until we have an approval from the customer.
What's a typical week look like? Do you guys have days where you're doing more design and then days where you're actually machining more stuff, or is it just ebb and flow?
It kind of comes and goes. Well, I mean, last week I had a bunch of production work, so it was literally the machine was just running nonstop doing production jobs. Um, and that allowed me time to actually work on designs on, the 3D CAD, which is nice. But then, like today, it, it was a lot of short run stuff. So, tools that only take 10 minutes to cut this and then change the tool and go on to the next, path or program. And, so it's a lot of back and forth and back and forth. And, you don't have time to, work on designs. But
Yeah. Have you had either a customer, and obviously you don't need to rat them out, but a customer or a design that maybe just didn't work out? You're just like, hey, this is not going to work out. We're going to try to make it, and it's too hard, or no, we pretty much make everything happy and make it happen.
for the most part, we get through a lot of stuff. And I mean, we'll tell people in the quote stage, whether or not it's too intricate or whatever. A lot of military stuff, they like to have images on top of images on top of images, and it's just like, okay, there's way too much going on in that, we can't machine that. So,
So when
it's
you say
fine.
that, is that like a military logo will have,
Oh yeah.
oh, here's the Bumblebee Warrior, and then you've got something on top of that, and then it's for civilians, but they really want that old school military perspective. Is that kind of what that?
Yeah, there's one like for the submarine group, there'll be two submarines with waves and tuna fish and cannons and all this stuff, and it's all all on this little thing. And oh, I want it to be 2 inches wide, and it's like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. um so
Too
they're like,
detailed and too small of a spot?
yeah, exactly. If we can scale it up, well then yeah, we can get more detail into it. The other thing we've done is we've taken maybe one of those medals or something like that. Maybe they have a medal that they had on their, uniform that had that logo on it. Well, we'll cut the pins off the back of it and, scan it in and make a pocket in a badge for that to mount into and make a completely, custom badge with that logo, from their actual military pin into a badge. So making basically a badge from their military pin. And that worked out, pretty well too. So there's
Yeah,
ways around it.
I didn't really think about it because I think you're so automotive based. But do you give us an example of some other things that you're like, yeah, oh yeah, that's only X% where we do other stuff. This is what we do.
Well, we have a client that makes automated equipment for food packaging. And so we make all the badges for their basically their robot machines. We put their name on it. And I've done everything from mailboxes to ice chests to, address signs out in front of your house. And, people come up with all kinds of crazy stuff. So I've done the little scale on the side of a boat, that tells you how deep the boat sunk down into the water. um, just all kinds of crazy stuff. So,
What would you say percentage wise is automotive badging?
um, probably about 85%. So, vehicle related, airplanes, boats, motorcycles, trucks, cars, some type of vehicle. I'd say about 85%.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, you think about your marketing and whether it's purposely or it's just the way it happens is that's how people are going to see it. And then, you started out that way, so I could see where, the mailbox thing might be random or somebody's
Mhm.
front door or they want the little door knock thing or anything like that. So that's kind of fun as well. But yeah, the variety or the baseline is probably, like I said, more vehicle based.
Yeah. And it can be on like the seat backs of vehicles or, engine components like valve covers, air cleaners, radiator core supports, stuff like that. People don't think about that. Or on the firewall, they'll put their name or something on it. We get a lot of dealer style emblems where they want their name, and they make like a fictitious dealership with their last name Motors, and then they'll have their hometown underneath it. Stuff like that, to be able to add their name to their vehicle and have something kind of period correct, uh, that most people wouldn't notice, but it's like, oh, hey, it's got my name on there.
Yeah,
So,
that's pretty bitchin'. Smart Motor Co. Ford, Lincoln,
yeah.
something like, yeah, that'd be, I mean, that is cool. Those are cooler as time goes on that you see those and you see those old badges, especially like on certain generations where they had them up front on the fender, where we see them, typically on the tailgate or the back of the vehicle, where you'll see a trunk lid and you see them, and every now and then you'll see them where they, some dealership bought so many of those before it was just a random sticker and had it up on a cowl
Yeah.
or up front there, and you're like, I've had people like, oh, I'm gonna take it off. Like, no, you're not. Never remove that. Like, you're crazy if you remove that. So,
Nope.
have you ever had one where somebody had maybe one side and they wanted another, or their dealer logo was starting to get brittle or break apart, and you redo that for them?
Actually, I had a kind of crazy one where the guy had a photograph of what the emblem looked like, and it fell off, and he lost it, so he had no part anymore. But the sun faded around the emblem, and so he laid a scale or a ruler up next to it and took some photographs of it. And from that image, I was able to scale the model and reproduce that emblem, and it fit exactly perfect and covered up the sun fade. He couldn't believe it. He's like, wow, I'm blown away that you're able to do that just from, basically a silhouette. And yeah, was able to mock it up for him, and went on exactly perfect. So
Well, attention to detail, like you said, kind of the motto of what you guys are doing, what's coming in and what's going out. Do you ever feel like, I mean, not necessarily responsible, but got to be kind of a prideful thing that you are creating to somebody's their vision, and you are helping with that vision and that solution. And just like this guy who had an old vehicle that the emblem fell off. It's like, dude, we are helping make somebody's dream become a reality and add to that. Again, just like with the Brutus, I mean, it really kind of makes the vehicle, and it's crazy to think. I mean, I don't want to take anything away from the truck. The truck was amazing. The truck was a 10 out of 10. But when you see that emblem, you're like, get out of town.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Does that resonate with you guys and your team, and just think, hey, we're making things, even though they're more individually based. I mean, it's got to be a prideful thing.
Oh yeah. No, it is. And I take on some jobs that I know I probably shouldn't, because I know they're going to take longer than expected, but it's something cool design that I want the challenge. I like that challenge, like that Futura one. I was like, I think I can do that. And if I'm able to do it, it came out great. And now the guy's just completely blown away. He just sent them out and had them all chrome plated. I actually made them out of brass, so that it could chrome plate it and have it look, very factory. And the brass areas got, polished out and, kind of fit the look. But, the client saw it and he just was speechless. He was just like, I can't believe you did that. That looks amazing. And he says, I haven't seen anything else like this. And there's been some people that tried to make them out of like 3D print, and they just don't look good. But to have a solid brass badge that's all chrome plated, he was just like, that looks legit. What is on that vehicle back in 1955? And so he was pretty happy about it.
Do you have a design or a logo that you would say is maybe your all-time or one of your all-time favorites?
So you bought a C10 and it either had AC at one time or it wasn't even an option. Well, Vintage Air has the solution for you. Their SureFit kits are designed to place the evaporator and hoses behind the dash for a factory clean look. The Vintage Air SureFit kits are the best value and the most completely engineered air conditioning system you can install in your C10. Damn, son, the choice is obvious. VintageAir.com. So you're thinking about converting your truck from a long bed to a short bed. Here's what you need. Brothers Trucks long bed to short bed conversion bracket. Includes laser etched steel templates with all the holes clearly marked and steel inner C-channel braces. It also includes front to rear brake lines, shorter parking brake cables, hardware, and all the detailed instructions telling you what to do. You can also jump on Brothers' YouTube channel for a detailed step-by-step video to make the process easier. Brothers Trucks has an easy solution for you, and they even offer bedside parts as well. BrothersTrucks.com.
Classic Performance Products, CPP back. Joe, let's talk X10 spindles. Go.
One of our most popular parts through the years has been our 2.5-inch drop modular spindles. Really popular part. Well, we've kind of taken that to the next step. We've emulated late model Corvette, Silverado, Chevy technology into our new X10 drop spindles. They use a steel hub, sealed bearing hub, really strong piece. It's oversized bearings, definitely great for a guy using big brakes, big wheels, which I'm sure all your guys are.
You need a new spindle anyways. You're going to lower your truck. You're running a bigger wheel, a bigger brake. CPP's got it for you with their new X10 spindle. Joe, as always, thank you. CPP, classicperform.com. It's classicperform.com.
Sniper 2. Are you ready to switch out that old carb for a modern EFI system? Well, Holley has a solution for you. The all-new Sniper 2. This new system was redesigned from the ground up. Available in tumbled polished or black powder coat, and there's 3 available tuning interfaces. A classic 3.5 handheld, a 5-inch mountable, which includes a GPS speedo or a Bluetooth module so you can use your smartphone. Another big bonus is the Sniper 2 has a built-in transmission control module. So if you're looking to upgrade to a 4-speed overdrive, 4L60, 4L80, you now can with ease. Holley.com to get started today. Holley.com.
Do you have a design or a logo that you would say is maybe your all-time or one of your all-time favorites?
Man, I have a couple. The Future is pretty high up there. I'll have to, think about that a little bit, but yeah, that one's pretty high up because that was a pretty good challenge.
Well, like you said, the challenge and the result. So it's a little bit of twofold, and then a happy client. So you're hitting, the trifecta. You're like, hey, not only do I have anything to pull from to figure this out, I'm pulling it from an old visual. I made it. The customer's happy,
Hmm.
and we did it. We completed it. It's got to feel really good.
Yeah. Um, I was pretty proud of the one we did for Square Body Syndicate, that O2 truck, and
Yeah.
I know Joe was pretty blown away by that one, because the finishes and everything on it were just on par. And I remember him taking a video of it just really up close, and you could just see all the details and everything on it. And he's like, I'm extremely picky about my vehicles, and he's like, that was on site, you're totally on par with the original. He's like, it was perfect. So I was pretty proud of that one.
Yeah, good. That thing is obviously that truck. Everybody knows that truck, and it's probably stressful. I guess I don't even really think about it, but when you've got clients like that, you're like, yeah, there's stress there. That's it's not just something that we just come in and don't care, clock in, whatever, make whatever. There's a toll there.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. So you got SEMA coming up. I know you and I have talked about some shows, and you're like, "Hey, I can barely keep up with what I got." How do you balance that, the marketing throughout the year, and the shows, and where to go, and what to do, and how to spend your time?
Yeah, the show scene, fortunately I have some good people here that can kind of keep things running while I'm gone. I'm do a lot of late nights up before the show to try to, the SEMA crunch, to try to get stuff done ahead of time so that I can take the time off and get stuff done. And
Yeah.
and then after the show, we'll have like a huge wave of new clients coming on that, oh, we saw you at the show, and hey, we want to have this done or that done. And then the timing with SEMA is also right around Christmas, so then we also have get slammed at Christmas, so it's tough to kind of balance it all. But been doing it for a long time, and we do the best we can. I know, we tell people, hey, our lead time right now is 12 to 16 weeks, depending on how long or how complicated your design is. And people are like, what? And it's like, well, we got 250 orders right now in our queue, and we have 6 employees. So you know there's only so much we can do. And what we do is not just, oh, you finished the design, oh, hit print, and here's your part. No, there's still a lot more to do even after we finish the design. So
Do you find it hard? Like, we talk to a lot of businesses. Do you find it pretty complicated to find more help? And again, going back to that balance where you're like, hey, I might hire a seventh or eighth person. It's just, I don't know that I can really find them.
yeah, we've run into the issue of people not wanting to work. They want the easy buck, and you know hell, at McDonald's you can make 20 something dollars an hour now, and it's just like, we can't afford to pay that, without pricing ourselves right out of the market. So it's really tough to find good people, but I have good people now, and they've been working out great. And um,
Well, ultimately, you're part of something bigger than just flipping a burger and frying some fries. So I think that's the biggest thing is, hey, this is fun, artistic. You get to be challenged, and I mean, you don't really think about it that much, but these young guys, they're out there working at Chick-fil-A or Mickey D's, like you said, and you're like, hey, you want to go flip burgers? I know a lot of kids do it for a few months, and they're like, nah, I don't want to do that. I'd rather
yeah.
have less money and more pride in what I'm putting out to the world. So let's hope that that continues not only for our industry, but for you and everybody else out there.
Yep, exactly.
I heard a story the other day. Somebody said you got involved with Robbie Lawyer and some Jeep stuff.
Yeah, Robbie Layton. Yeah,
Oh, Leighton.
yeah, Robbie Layton. He was building a Ford truck, tow truck, and he called it King Fred. And he got on there and he hit everybody on the, his YouTube channel and said, "Hey, I'm looking for someone that can make a factory style emblem for King Fred." And I guess a bunch of people dropped my name, and I actually had people come up to me at SEMA and um, the hot rod show. And we're like, "Hey, can I get your card? Because somebody's looking to have some badges made on this YouTube channel." And so I started getting all these emails from people. "Hey, you got to contact Robbie Layton and make these badges for him." So we made them up for him. And yeah, he was pretty stoked on it. And so we made him up for him and he posted it. And then next thing we know, our, email blows up with, requests for all kinds of different things. So
Pretty soon you'll be making little ducks for all the Jeep guys. And what do you think about the newer stuff? Like, for example, the newer Broncos. Have you been making anything for those?
Yeah, I've made some stuff for the new Broncos. Usually people want, little Sasquatches. They're something to replace the Ford Oval with, their name or whatever. Not too many crazy. I mean, the old style script Bronco emblems. Yeah, there's people all over the place making those, but that's not something I want to do. I'd rather do something custom and unique. There's made in China Bronco emblems, for $20. Well, that's not me. But if somebody wants something custom and unique, sure. Yeah, I'll do whatever for them. So,
Do you have other production stuff like the 7.3 Godzilla one you talked about? Do you have some other examples of some of those that you run production on?
There's the little R badges for the Shelby GT 350. They came out with an R model. Well, they still just had the GT 350 on the outside of the vehicle, but then they had the R on the seats and stuff like that. Well, I made just a little R badge to stick on right behind the GT 350, and yeah, those things have gone crazy. I've made probably about 500 of those little R badges.
So guys just wanting to showcase, hey, it's it's the higher end vehicle, and for whatever reason they didn't show that, the factory didn't, so the audience or the owner wants to.
Yeah, I probably made more R badges than the actual R production for all the posers out there that want to pretend like they had an R model and they put on the carbon fiber wheels and all that. So
that's cheaper that way. They can just buy the best. Yeah, you can build your own R package. How about the 4Runner guys? Those Toyota guys are pretty crazy.
Yeah, no, we've done a bunch of stuff for 4Runners and Tacomas and Tundras and there again, oval badges for them, or coming up with some custom name, like they'll take off the Tundra and have it say something unique. We've done that before in the Tundra style font.
What about a taco? Do you guys make a little taco badge for the Tacoma? A little Yoda? I mean,
I have done the Yoda.
Oh yeah, those guys they get after it.
Yeah, and even the real old school Toyota logo, that's the the Japanese writing version of the old Toyota. I've done that. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff like that.
Yeah, even the car guys. I mean, the Toyota car guys, some of the different Subarus and the turbos, and yeah, I could see breaking into that thing and you'd be, if not already, it's just, yeah, it's popular and it's fun and people want that identity. Do you see that, and for the audience, just from the perspective on my end, it's mostly sticker stuff, right? Or you've got adhesive on the back of it, and sometimes you might drill, sometimes you don't have to.
Yeah, I always tell people don't drill holes. So there's no reason for it. If you have the holes and you're going to replace it with something unique and different, fill the holes you have because you don't need them anymore. The adhesive is way stronger than the old stud method. I mean, you're securing it over the entire surface of the emblem, not just in two spots now. You don't get dirt, debris, and water behind them. They don't rattle. It acts like a gasket. So it's a way better method to secure the emblem. And yeah, you don't need holes. So always fill them.
All right. That's what I got. I looked through my whole list. I think you guys are doing a great job. Again, I think from the perspective of the consumer out, we just want to make sure people know about Billet Badges and what you guys do and what you offer. And I think just knowing that you guys are for you and your team, just knowing you guys are making people's day. I mean, when they open that packaging, there is a Christmas-esque feeling of that vision and that shine and those colors, and you feel that and you're like, hey, this is pretty cool. So whether it's a small dash badge, whether it's a 7.3 Godzilla or something that, you guys have done and put your own spin on it, it's cool.
I always think of it as the cherry on top. When people finally complete their build or whatever, this is the final little detail, the cherry on the top that's adding their signature or their unique style to their build to make it unique. So
I agree. That's a great way of looking at it. And some of these kids are like, what does that mean? You're like, well, there used to be a Sunday and you would go and buy it with your grandparents and there was a banana. And like, what does that mean? The cherry on top, and you're like, let me explain it. Let me explain it, kiddo. All right, Steve. Well, I appreciate your time. I'm always stoked to open up my Billet Badge package. And I love having that dash emblem on my truck. So I appreciate it. And just keep milling, keep machining, keep doing what you do, brother.
Yep. Look forward to seeing you at SEMA.
I'll be there with some Billet Badges. Thank you.
All right. Sounds good.
What do you think? Have you ever wanted to get a Billet Badge, or have you? And does Steve's style motivate you? I know that, you could tell when I see his stuff on a build, I'm drawn to it. I like his style. I like his flow. I like his colors. And, the vision. So when I've worked with him, he's picking up what I'm laying down every time. So that's why it's a pleasure to not only buy his products, but to have him on the pod, support him. Small business guy doing what he loves. So great story to think that, he was working a job that maybe a 9-to-5er that he didn't love, and then built a career or a business out of what became his passion. So thank you so much again, Steve. Appreciate your time. Appreciate you sitting down. For you guys, as always, we appreciate you tuning in, supporting the pod. Jump back to 316 if you haven't had a chance. And like I've mentioned a few different times, I promise you I will get Ben's out 318. I'm not gonna not let it happen. 318, we'll have Ben out, Ben Napier, homegrown. He will be next, I promise. I'll drop that next. Thanks, guys. Late.